Before you go out and buy Terrae Essence from Bulgari 2021 release, watch this video and you'll find out more about it. Let's go. Bulgari has had some fragrances, and I think the flagship store, the first one was like 1905 or something like this. The first Bulgari Man fragrance in the Bulgari Man series. Cologne, Bulgari Man, Black Orient, Wood Essence, Neroli Wood. I mean, there has been a whole slew of fragrances since then. I have a few of them. I don't have all of them, but I did purchase the newest one. It is Terrae Essence from 2021. And when I first sprayed this fragrance in the store, I wasn't sure if I was going to get it, but I actually really liked the way it smelled. It's unique and it's a little bit away from the other ones, and I really enjoyed it. So let's go into and find out what the fragrance is all about. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at the presentation. So Bulgari Man Essence was released in 2021. The perfumer behind it is Alberto Morias, great perfumer, has lots of perfumes under his name. But let's give it another spray and see what we find at the top. Comes out quite well now that we've sprayed it a couple times. When you first spray the fragrance, what you're going to have is quite a large amount of citron at the very top. But it has a secondary note that is a little bit different and more unusual and not used as often like bergamot. At the beginning, right next to the citron, you're going to have a note called calamansi. And calamansi is a little bit like a kumquat. It's not quite as sweet. It's a little bit more on the limey side. So it's often used, or you can be used, instead of like a bergamot, which is actually a quite beautiful note right next to the citron in here. Now this fragrance from the very beginning smells a lot like there is some earth, some woods in there, and I also pick up a little bit of smoke. Of course, there is no smoke listed in the fragrance breakdown. So how could this fragrance possibly have some smoke in it? Well, there were two kinds of vetivers used in this fragrance. You had the Haitian vetiver, which is a little bit lighter, a little bit greener, and then you had Java vetiver, which is a little bit more on the smoky, dusty side. And those two combined give you that sense of smoke with a beautiful sort of deep, earthy undertone. Now there's some earth notes in here, and there's also the note of orris. Orris is the root stock of iris. It is a little bit woody. It is also a little bit earthy, and it has a hint of iris and ever so slightly powdery. So it's powdery, it's woody, it has a hint of iris and a little bit of earthiness to it. It's a beautiful scent, and it's used quite a lot in perfumery. So altogether we have the citron and the calamansi fruit at the top. The calamansi, I believe, is from the Philippines. And then, of course, you have the vetiver, two kinds of vetiver. We have the Haitian vetiver and the Java vetiver, which is a little bit more earthy. It's a little deeper. It's not quite as green and fresh, but both of those are mixed together in this fragrance. And then you have the orris, which is a beautiful scent. It's the wood stock of the fragrance, and it has, it's kind of a little bit powdery and has a hint of iris in it. It's nice and deep. Beautiful scent. And then you have some styrex, which is in the family or in the neighborhood of the benzoins, or the benzoin is in the neighborhood of the styrex. So it's very similar. It's kind of a resinous sort of deep scent. Now, I don't have it too long yet. I did wear it today, so I have a little bit of an idea how long it lasts on me. And for me, I got about 5 hours out of it, and it was about 5 hours, maybe 5.5. It wasn't too terribly long, so it'll probably perform just a little bit better when it's warmer outside. Now, what does it smell like? I give you the notes and you're like, okay, orris, and this is nice and warm, and styrex, and what does it smell like? Well, it does remind me of a couple of other fragrances that I have. Now, it doesn't smell like them exactly, but hints of the fragrance kind of remind me of it. Now, the deep sort of wet woodiness that I get from this fragrance is going to be a little bit along the lines of Encre Noir from Lalique. Now, it doesn't smell like Encre Noir, but it has a little bit of that undertone of the wet woods, the ground underneath it. Also, a little bit of a scent that reminds me of Gucci Guilty de Absolute. Absolute, I believe it is. Yeah, Absolute. It reminds me of that a little bit, kind of in the background. You know, it's probably because of the Java vetiver that was used. Kind of reminds me a little bit of that. But there's also a certain amount of smokiness in Terre Essence. And I was like, what reminds me of that? What reminds me of that? And, you know, if you were to take the replica by the fireplace, but you take away the sweetness that's in here, there's almost zero sweetness in Terre Essence. Take away the sweetness and just leave the smoke. And that's kind of what you would get. You'd sort of have a mixture of these three in varying degrees. If you ask me, is this a great scent for Bulgari, the Italian house? I think it's a wonderful scent. Terre Essence is a lighter version with hints of these placed throughout. And I really enjoy Terre Essence. Should get your nose on it, spray it on your hand, and kind of wear it for a little while and see if you like it. Now we know that what it kind of smells like. It smells a little bit like those, a lighter version, which is very nice. But the fragrance itself, I really enjoyed. I can't wait to wear it a little bit longer and see how much it actually develops as you spray more and maybe wear it in the warmer weather. Looking forward to doing that. Anyway, that was a quick review of Bulgari's 2021 Terre Essence, brand new one that just came out. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to love, like, share, all those wonderful things. I want to thank you in advance. Until next time, I want you to take good care of yourself. Always smell nice, and I will talk to you soon. Until then, SCENTTRAIL.